Weekly forecast May 8th to 14th, 2023. Mercury turns direct. Hi, I am Batool astrologer presenting you the weekly forecast commencing on Monday, May the 8th, 2023. This is the last week before discerning communication. Mercury leaves retrograde and goes direct next Sunday on May the 14th, but as Mercury is about ready to stop, what it's doing is, it's slowing down and comes to a standstill by Saturday into Sunday, and then it slowly starts moving forwards again. So off and around a couple of days when Mercury is changing directions, is when you see the more conventional misunderstandings, losing things, jumping to conclusions. For the most part, you don't see that on a regular everyday basis, but you do see a lot of it, and that could was when it's changing signs, and I mean it's changing directions this Sunday, May the 14th, but there's some positive energies here. But before I break down what's happening on a daily basis, if you enjoy these kinds of videos and would like to see more of them, click like and subscribe, and don't forget to click on the notification bell so you can receive the latest postings. Alright, on Monday, the moon is in Sagittarius. The moon sets the public tone, the public reaction. Sagittarius tends to be more upbeat, more outgoing, more adventurous. By 1 to 2 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, the moon in Sagittarius will be in harmony with expansive optimistic Jupiter, but Jupiter is the planet that rules or is associated with Sagittarius. So we're going to have an early afternoon Pacific time on Monday, that emotional public moon in Sagittarius in harmony with its ruling planet. So there could be a lot of robust, enthusiasm energies really looking to the future. With Jupiter, that can mean traveling, education. Just keep in mind, you could be feeling really upbeat about the future, but this is not the week to make any important commitment, and the moon in Sagittarius will go void, of course. I often talk about when the moon goes void, which will be 1:28 p.m. Pacific time until 4:33 p.m. Pacific time. It is when the moon is no longer making aspects to other planets, so the energy is flat and unproductive. So when you start a new job, you launch a new website, a new business, any kind of important birth of some important project, it's either going to fall flat or it's just going to take so much more effort. Plus with the moon void, of course, and Mercury retrograde, it's best for those 3 hours to just go take a nap. Go walk around the block or just keep doing what you've been doing, but don't start thinking of new ideas and then starting to get excited about them. At 4:33 p.m. on Monday Pacific time, the moon is now in Capricorn. Where Sagittarius, it's more playful, outgoing, adventurous. Capricorn is more organized, more business-minded, more goal-oriented, more conventional. There's nothing going on for the rest of the day. The moon on Tuesday continues in Capricorn because the moon goes from sign to sign every 2.5 days, but the sun on Tuesday is shining its light, drawing our attention to the planet Uranus. So once a year, as the sun moves 1 degree every day, the sun will cross over each planet at some point throughout the year. So on Tuesday the sun is putting a major focus, drawing our attention to all things Uranus. Now Uranus can mean rebellion. Uranus can also be shaking things up unexpectedly, but this could put a real spotlight on the future. That's Uranus of innovation and progress, and also maybe having a real interest in the occult, in astrology. Maybe it's just a great day to be studying astrology or having a great astrology reading. On Wednesday, the moon continues in sensible practical Capricorn, but mid-morning about 9 to 11 a.m. Pacific time, the moon will be in opposition or confrontation with warrior Mars. That would not be a good hour or two to be having any important discussions, whether it's personal, whether it's financial, business, because there could be these ego disputes. This could be, and with Mercury in retrograde and slowing down. intensifying any misinformation. This could be a difficult time for the jumping to conclusions or getting all bent out of shape. Best to go exercise. Go take a walk by late afternoon 5-6 p.m. Pacific time. Now that conventional Capricorn moon is going to be in tension with Jupiter. Now Jupiter is the great benefic, but when the moon, which is more this public reaction, public tone, is pushing on Jupiter, it can trigger these inflated expectations. And Mercury, I always talk about when Mercury is in retrograde, expect the unexpected, and sometimes it could be unexpectedly good. It's not always the kiss of death with Mercury in retrograde, but the moon will then go into Aquarius. Much more quirky futuristic Aquarius at 7-6 p.m. Pacific time, so that early evening Pacific time as the moon goes into Aquarius. It's crossing Pluto, that is at 0 degrees of Aquarius. Remember, Pluto entered into Aquarius at the end of March through the beginning of June, but it's only planting its seeds at 0 degrees. So when the moon crosses Pluto, or any planet but crossing Pluto, it could be triggering some really compulsive, obsessive reactions. Now this can be favorable, with Pluto can rule therapy, counseling, introspection, soul-searching, and so you could be really probing the depths of your psyche, where you're directing it more and feeling more in control, or else you could just be bouncing off walls with intense emotional reactions. On Thursday, the moon continues in Aquarius. Also, it's going to be squaring or difficult angle to rational Mercury, but it's still retrograde and really intensified because it's almost at a snail's pace. So around 6 to 7 a.m. Pacific time, that moon is in difficult angle to Mercury. All forms of meetings, communications, correspondence may get screwed. You could be jumping to conclusions, so it's only an hour. That too shall pass, then we get into some really good energies. Now the Mercury is going to be slowing down and appearing to be stationary, not moving either direction by Saturday. Then on Sunday, late on Sunday, it starts to go forwards or direct, so on Friday there's some really good news. The first half of the day Pacific time, Mercury is going to be in harmony with pragmatic Saturn. If it wasn't retrograde, that would be a good day for all forms of business and common sense, being really disciplined and focused, but because it's retrograde, but it's almost at a standstill, so that mind is being really intensified. Your thoughts really intensify, but positive with Saturn. It could even be that old projects that you had been working on or maybe put on the shelf could come back alive. Or this could be something in business you could have been working on prior to Mercury and retrograde, and this could be when it all kind of finishes up. The last half of the day, for the most part, the retrograde Mercury is now going to be in harmony with Venus. Venus is compromise, cooperation, relationships, and with the retrograde Mercury, that had just still being influenced by Saturn, this could be a really favorable time to reconcile any misunderstandings, but this can also be has nothing to do necessarily with trying to repair. With the Venus you reconnect maybe through social media, maybe just walking down the street and you run into an old friend that you haven't even seen for weeks or maybe a couple of years, and along with that last half of the day Pacific time, social Venus will be in harmony with Saturn. Now Venus-Saturn can help you feel more grounded in business. This is very favorable for working on any creative projects, but as the Mercury retrograde is in harmony with Venus, that can be trying to clean up old messes and starting fresh again and reconciling, then the social Venus is in harmony with Saturn at the same time, so that can just help stabilize and ground any relationship that had gone off track. So as I'm saying, this could be a really favorable day for a lot of people on Friday to heal any mistakes or misunderstandings that's been going on with Mercury and retrograde. On Saturday, from around 7-8 maybe up to 9-0 a.m. Pacific time, the moon is now in Pisces. More sensitive, empathetic Pisces, it's going to be crossing over Saturn, restricted realistic Saturn, but at the same time in harmony with Venus, so that could be that morning Pacific time could be really favorable for having a real transparent heartfelt in-depth conversation to continue really healing. And so from Friday with the Venus with the Saturn, and then on Saturday morning Pacific time. Now the emotional moon is in harmony with the Venus and the Saturn, so there's a lot of healing and reconciling. So if you are really wanting to resolve any resentments, any ego conflicts, don't wait, because this energy in Friday and Saturday is very favorable for healing. And then on Sunday, Mercury goes direct in Taurus. Now technically it doesn't start to move forwards till 8:11 p.m. Pacific time, so for a lot of the world, it might not be going direct until the 15th. Now Mercury will remain in Taurus until June the 11th. The Sun is continuing in Taurus for a week or so. That Taurus gives more grounding, steady energies to keep persevering. On Sunday when Mercury goes direct, it's going to be moving at a 0-degree pace. The movement is almost imperceptible, and so it's going really slow. It's entering into what we call the shadow phase, the 2-week shadow phase, to make it more common sense. When Mercury starts to go direct, going very slowly before it catches up to its regular speed, your mind, your decision-making faculties would still be slow, are not fully trusting and confident, but the Taurus energy keeps persevering, which can be a very positive thing. So overall, I think this is a good week for many of you to be bringing a lot of closure to where there had been some misunderstandings, and cleaning the slate, clean again, and getting ready for a new chapter. So I want to thank you for watching. Until next week, be safe and well. It will be an honor if you will subscribe my channel, as it helps me to grow my channel. Thank you.